ago, musicians went from castle to castle, entertaining kings and queens. Today, musicians go from school to school, entertaining children. And one of the musicians that does that is Victor Colburn. Hi.
Hi.
Well, let's hear some of the entertainment you've been providing for schools.
The songs that I write about actually come from things that happen to everybody in their lives. So if you have ever been asked to clean up your room, you may want to sing along with this song. And you can sing along with it by starting out with 3 words: impossible to arrange, whether you're asking somebody to clean up their room or whether you're cleaning up your room yourself. I got my hamster, my parakeet, and all of the seats, they make a little path to the door. I got my hockey gear, roller skating bike with 10 speeds, and the ball and the bat and the glove on the floor. Clean up your room, my mother yells, don't keep crackers under your bed. Clean up your room, 'cause it really smells. These words are ringing in my head. It's my very own room, and I like it best. I couldn't bear to make a change. Clean up your room, it's a hopeless request, impossible to arrange. Impossible to arrange. I got 100 Barbie dolls and G.I. Joes driving mobile homes and pink limousines, and Ken's getting tan over by the bureau, making a move on Barbie's golden dreams. I leave out my shirts and my Calvin Kleins. How else do I know what to wear? And my socks that smell like turpentine sort of add to the richness of the air. It's my very own room, and I like it best. I couldn't bear to make a change. Clean up your room, it's a hopeless request, impossible to arrange. Impossible to arrange. I got old bits of homework tucked into cracks and old dried out magic markers without tops. A few crumbs of bread from my midnight snacks and a few sticky lemon drops. So open my door very carefully and step with some reverence. You could easily sink up to your knees, but it's worth the experience. You can clap your hands, it's my very own room. I like it best, I couldn't bear to make a change. Clean up your room, it's a hopeless request, impossible to arrange. Oh, impossible to arrange. Yes, impossible to arrange.
I could relate to that. Could you relate to that? As a mother, I can relate to that, and as kids, you could relate to.
Well, I wrote that with my friend Judith Steinberg, who's a poet, and she's a mother as well, and that's where the idea first came from.
I'll say. Now, a few months ago, you were over in Framingham in residency at the Juniper Hill School, and there were some pretty good songwriters over there, weren't there, amongst the kids?
Well, yes, it was the second time I was there for a residency. I'd gone there the year before and spent a month. And so the next time I came back, there was a lot less to talk about as far as groundwork of songwriting. We just jumped right into it. And
you've got some songs from Framingham?
I have a very beautiful song about peace. And we wrote this song on the day of the summit meeting, and we were talking about peace songs, talking about the peace songs in the 60s, and why aren't there more peace songs like We Are the World that reminds people of the way that we should live and treat each other. So they decided they wanted to write one. So we did. We started out by asking a question, where does peace begin? And the answer was within yourself, within your heart. But then where does it go? And the song addresses itself to that. Peace begins in our hearts and flows out to each other like a river to the ocean, like the sun lights up the world. Peace can only start when we care for our sisters and brothers. When we care for our sisters and brothers, peace lights up the world. Peace begins when we share friendship with each other, caring, trust, respect, love, and doing things together. Peace begins in our hearts and flows out to each other like a river to the ocean, like the sun lights up the world. Peace can only start when we care for our sisters and brothers. When we care for our sisters and brothers, peace lights up the world. Peace lights up our lives like a candle burning bright. A world without peace is like a world without light. Peace begins in our hearts and flows out to each other like a river to the ocean, like the sun lights up the world. Peace can only start when we care for our sisters and brothers. When we care for our sisters and brothers, peace lights up the world. Peace lights up the world. Peace lights up the world.
That's great. Let's give a hand for framing him. Juniper Hill School.
Juniper Hill School.
Now, you were just over in the Lilja School.
Yes.
In Natick for a 2-week residency. And how were they as songwriters? How were those Lilja schools?
Well, they were terrific, actually, because every school I go to, everyone writes songs, seems to, for the first time. And I think that's a great way of looking at it, too, because every song you do write is the first one. And as a class, a kindergarten class wrote a song about rainbows in the sky. And that's the one I'd like to share with you today. And we did this to the tune of, that may sound familiar to people, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. We threw out the words and put in our own words. One day I saw colors in the sky. It was after the rain fell from way up high. I felt happy and I felt proud because I saw a rainbow in the clouds. Red, orange, yellow, and green, such beautiful colors I have never ever seen. Rainbows are like diamonds in the sky. The next time you see one, be sure to say hi.
Oh, let's give a hand to those kindergartners. That was great. Well, right now you're in residency at Cole School. How do they stack up as songwriters?
Pretty good.
That's what I thought.
Not only as whole classrooms, but individuals have been coming up to me every day with songs ranging from a lot of different subjects, from their own pets to their own lives.
Great. You've been doing a lot of work with the 3rd grade, and we have representatives here from Cole's 3rd grade.
Here they are.
Yeah, so we have some songwriters right here. And what did they do?
Well, let's see. We're going to start out, I guess we'll start out with Dr. Passione's class's song, and you put up your hands here so people will know who you are here. We also have Miss Levy's class here, too. Would you put up your hands? Okay. You can clearly see that they're different people. However, their songs are wonderful. And so we'd like to start off with a song about communities. And we put our own words to a song called Seeing with My Ears. It's all about Natick, except for your verse, which is about Framingham, which is great, because that's what folk music should do, spread from neighborhood to neighborhood. Communities are people helping each other, taking care of each other in different ways. Living, working, and playing together, making things better, it really pays. Cole School is a community of students and teachers learning together so we can grow. We all live in the town of Natick. It's the best community I know. Ready? Here we go now. My community is really neat, not because of its pretty streets, but because of the people I meet. Natick Mass is really neat. Natick is a place to have a smiling face, no matter what color, creed, or race. And if you are in the know, Natick's where you'll want to go. We make friends in our room, that's where friendships really bloom. Our best friends are really neat. Going to Coastal is a great big treat, and my community is really neat. Well, not because of the people I meet, pretty sweet, but because of the people I meet. Sing out. Natick Mass is really neat. Framingham, Mass is my hometown. Pratt Street is where I hang around. All your friends at Pratt Street are gonna know about that now. Animals live there, it ain't no bunk. Lots of cats and dogs and even a skunk.
There is one.
My community is really neat, oh, not because of its pretty streets, but because of the people I meet. Natick Mass is really neat.
Wow. Dr. Passione's class.
Yeah.
Great. Now, how about Mrs. Levy's class?
Well, two different subjects all together, and this is only part, both of these are only parts of these songs here, because we really got into talking about all aspects of community. And Miss Levy's class, we got to talking about our bodies and keeping ourselves healthy and fit. And we decided to put different ways we could do that into a song. So we did. And it's called, what's the name of the song?
Our bodies.
Our Bodies. Okay, it's the hardest part is naming the song. When we exercise, when we get our sleep, when we eat healthy food, healthy bodies we keep. So don't use any drugs or pills. Alcohol and cigarettes makes people ill. Brushing our teeth keeps them strong. If you get cavities, you're doing it wrong. Take a shower with soap and water. Scrub your face like you oughta. When we exercise, when we get our sleep, when we eat healthy food, healthy bodies we keep. Don't use any drugs or pills. Alcohol and cigarettes makes people ill. One more time, wanna sing along with me? When we exercise, when we get our sleep, when we eat healthy food, healthy bodies we keep. Don't use any drugs or pills. Alcohol and cigarettes makes people ill.
Well, the friendliest kids must be from Dr. Passione's class, and the healthiest ones must be from
Healthy and friendly, a good combination.
Yeah.
Well, now, what happens when a folk singer like you walks into a classroom? What goes on that's unusual? What are some of the things you bring?
Well, let's see, it may not be unusual for me, it may be unusual for you. When I walk into a classroom, the first thing I find I have to do is to explain what folk music is, because a lot of people have different ideas of what folk music is. Some people think that folk songs are only songs that you sing around the campfire and only during summertime. And we've forgotten that folk songs started a long time ago when we were very young. And the first things that we learned were folk songs. Skip to My Lou, the ABC song, Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and they would pass on some very important information for us. And folk music still does that today, except there's a lot less of it on the radio, so we need to sing more of it.
Well, a lot of these kids' parents grew up with folk music.
That's right, and a lot of parents have been coming, and I've been meeting them in the halls and saying, gee, thank you, you know.
Yeah.
My Joni Mitchell records were getting dusty in the corner, and I'd forgotten I had that old Bob Dylan record, or the old Weavers, or Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Right.
So it
Right.
gives families a chance to
Great.
sit together and share each other's music.
That's terrific. Now, what about when you get them to write the songs? What happens then?
Well, we pick an idea to write about, and as you heard, it can be about anything from communities to your own health. I've even written a song about belly buttons many years ago with a kindergarten class. But after you pick what you're going to write about, then you have to look at it very closely. And you have to tell everything you know about it. and pass it through yourself. If you're writing about a tree, for example, how do trees relate to you? You know, do they have feelings? Do you have feelings like a tree? And the more things from nature or from whatever your subject is that you talk with yourself about, the more things you'll find to write about.
Well, these are some of the things that can happen in schools, but can you use this at home, too? Can
All the
parents use
time.
this?
All the time. Well, Clean Up Your Room is a very good, I'm glad we
yes.
started with that
Yes.
song because it took a very sensitive issue and turned it into almost a comic issue. And actually singing that song and cleaning up your room makes it go by very quickly. But sometimes maybe people may want to communicate with other members of their family how they feel or how they feel about someone else through a song. That way you can share it with each other.
Well, some families have probably always kind of sung songs to each other, starting out when their kids were very little. But suppose you haven't. Suppose you're a family that doesn't sing to each other. How would you get started doing it all of a sudden?
Well, in the basic folk tradition, you can take a tune that everybody knows, such as Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or whatever the case may be, throw out the words and put your own words in about yourselves. And actually, if every family wrote a song about themselves and described themselves and shared it with other people, we'd have a whole lot of folk songs.
Are there any other kinds of music that you talk about when you're in residency, besides folk music?
Oh, let's see, I talk about rock and roll,
Yeah.
but only insofar as the fact that rock and roll had its origins in folk music, and a folk music called the blues. And discovering that and the poetry of the blues and the origins of it really gives us a better understanding of the music that we hear today.
Great. One of the songs that they wrote at Cole School that an individual wrote, I think is very special. You think we ought to get into this one? This is a song that comes from a book. It was inspired by a book. And the book was called The Dream Stealer by Gregory Maguire. And a fifth grader, Jane Zagashevsky, wrote a poem about it. And now this poem is a song. This book is about Russian folklore, and it's quite a fantasy. Once in a generation, the blood prince, a fearsome wolf, cuts a bloody path through the village of Mirsk, stealing the dreams of the Russian peasants. The girl, Lisette, the boy, Pasha, and even the witch, Baba Yaga, are all trying to save the village. But in the end, they will be saved by a tiny magic doll.
Blood prince, a wolf with shining eyes, is really a dream stealer in disguise. Blood prince prowling in the dark, and yonder foxes afraid bark. Blood prince thinking of what he would like with a full moon shining. Soon he will strike. There is only one thing that he is afraid of, a magical doll with two golden braids. Dream stealer's eyes are glowing bright, but with him there is no fight. Soon Ivan's dream will be in his sack, then he'll creep away silently with it on his back. Lisette's dream is what he wants, because of it Mirsk he haunts. Whose dream will he steal tonight, when a full moon shining bright? Blood prince is a wolf with shining eyes, is really a dream stealer in disguise.
That's a beautiful song.
Oh,
It
thank
really
you.
is
Really
great.
beautiful words, too. I'm going to go read this book
Yes,
myself.
it's amazing. Now you're giving a concert tomorrow night. That's
right.
part of your residency. You give
Well,
an
tomorrow
evening.
night being Tuesday the
Yeah,
25th.
that's right.
And it's part of my residency. At the end of it, I give a concert for the community so that everyone can hear their songs that we've sweated and labored over in the classrooms, done in a very performance type of style.
About how many songs come out of a residency?
Well, this school has been very prolific. It's hard to say. It depends how many classes I see. And I've seen 13 classes altogether at the Coles School, but they're going to be slightly more than 13 songs because individuals have written their own. Also, another byproduct is some poetry. Poems have come out, too. Songs that started to be songs decided just to be poems, and it's fine.
Great,
So it'll be a very interesting evening.
great. That's wonderful. Do you have another song you think we could close with?
Oh, let's
Maybe
see.
they ought to. Any other thoughts on creativity?
Oh, well, I was going to say.
We don't have that much more time.
Okay, this song I was going to sing, the last one, the song written about, this too was from the Juniper Hill School, but this is from the first year that I was there. And this is about what do people do when they go home after school? And it shows you how you can take something that happens right in your life every day, just pay attention to yourself, and you may have a wonderful song or poem in there. It's called the 301 Blues. When I come home at the end of school and I have to walk my pet, clean my room, do my homework, then the table I must set. But I just want to plop on my bed, rest my head and kick off my shoes. I don't want to work so hard, I got the after school 301, I'm so tired blues. Well, I would rather be watching TV, Heathcliff, Bugs, and Woody, Tom and Jerry, or the Brady Bunch, while munching out on some goodies. I could be out riding my bike, or out playing tag, singing and swinging, jumping and running, even sleeping in my sleeping bag. Well, I'm not being lazy, well, it's just that I'm so weary. I had a rough day at school today, and the 301 blues are making me teary. So don't you ask me to do anything more than I can do. I don't want to work so hard, I got the after school 301, I'm so tired blues. I got the after school 301, I'm so tired blues. Juniper Hills, yeah!
Thanks
Ain't it
so
the
much.
truth?
Yeah,
Oh, thank you
this
for having me here.
This was really great to have you here in Natick.
Thank you.
Thanks.
What can I do when my brother is crying? What can I do? I don't know what to say. I take my brother in my arms and I hug him. I take my brother in my arms and I love him. What can I do when my sister is crying? What can I do? I don't know what to say. I take my sister in my arms and I hug her. I take my sister in my arms and I love her. What can I do when I am crying? What can I do? Well, I don't know what to to say. I look deep inside my heart and love will find me. I look deep inside my heart and love will find me. What can I do when the whole world is crying? What can I do? I don't know what to say. I just open up my heart and I love